Hey guys, Seven with Shawn here, and this week we're in week 3 of our Focus 2020 series, and we're talking about Go. And the passage this week was out of Mark chapter 2, one of my favorite passages in the Gospels. It's the story of the 4 men that lower a paralyzed man down into the house where Jesus was teaching. And in the story, there were really 3 things I wanted to touch on. The first was the paralyzed man. And you know, when they lowered him down, Jesus looks up and it says I believe verse 3, it says, when they saw their faith, he said to the man, son, your sins are forgiven. And if you remember in the sermon, I pointed out that this is an incredibly awkward moment. Here comes this guy coming down from the roof, right? And everyone's staring at him. I'm sure Peter's upset that there's a hole in his roof, and it's just this kind of chaos going on, and everyone's staring at this guy, and it's just awkward. And then everyone knows, they want Jesus to heal him, and then Jesus looks at him and says, son, your sins are forgiven. And you can imagine the guy was like, thanks, I guess, but that's not why I'm here. That's not my big problem. I can't sin that much laying on a mat. And Jesus was trying to explain to them, no, that is your problem. That's the biggest problem. We all have problems in our life, emotional, financial, physical ailments. We have family members that die, things that are really bad, that hurt. But what Jesus was trying to say, the greatest problem you have, before we can get to those problems, is that you and I are sinners and we are separated from God for eternity. So he was addressing the big problem first. And I know that's not politically correct, that we're supposed to deal with, people's needs and be sensitive to those things. And I understand that. But Jesus just gets right to it. And that's the truth, is we have to deal with our sin first. And we can't. Only Jesus can. So you've got to come to Jesus by faith that he's going to do it. So we talked about the man. Then we talked about his friends, because if you notice, it says when he saw their faith. So the man's faith, but also the 4 friends that got him to Jesus. And each of them probably had a different gifting. Each of them had a different passion, but they all worked together to get him to Jesus. And there's something that happens when we as God's people work together to see people come to Christ. So I'm excited about this Focus 2020 initiative the next 3 years, because it's really calling our church to work together, to grow in our knowledge of how to share our faith together, to go and serve together and evangelize together, and then also to give together, to sacrifice together. And everyone comes from different socioeconomics, but it's equal sacrifice, different gifts is really how it works. So there's their faith, when he saw their faith. So there's something powerful about that. And then the last part was just talking about you and me. Is the truth of the matter is, this man laid on the mat his whole life, and when Jesus said, get up and take your mat and go, he probably had lots of people that tried to heal him. He had people that prayed for him. He prayed for himself, and he had to have the faith to stand up in front of everyone and walk out the door. And the Christian faith, your faith, is a public faith. It's something that people should know about. And there will be people that doubt it. There'll be people that ridicule it. There'll be people that think you're a hypocrite. And sometimes you will be a hypocrite, but it is still a public faith. And you need to live it out that way, because you're what the Bible calls an ambassador of Christ. So some of us, we never got up and walked. You got saved, you got healed, Jesus forgave you your sins, but you never started walking with God. So I want to encourage you to take some steps to walk with God. And if you're in a growth group, that's the first great step. Our friend Tony got up and talked about how, when she gave her life to Christ, she got in growth groups. She started reading her Bible. She started taking classes at the church. She got more and more involved in church. She started serving in church. And then on a whim, she decided to go on a missions trip to India. And that really changed the trajectory of her life, even more so. But she had to crawl to walk. She had to walk to run. Sometimes you got to drive a tricycle before you can drive a Porsche. So it's that kind of thing. So I encourage you, get up off your mat and walk with God. Start walking and see what He does. So hey, enjoy the study. Make sure you take time to pray for each other. In my group on Sunday night, I'm in a couples group. Our growth group leader, he asked us to break off, and guys on one side of the room, girls on the other, and we wanted to pray for lost people that we know, people that were far from God. And that was a cool moment. So I might encourage you to do that too. All right, take it easy. Go be the church.